Picture this. You're hiking the Big Sur mountain range. It's late afternoon. The sun is slowly making its way behind the horizon. A dense fog is rolling in off the coast. You glance at a cliff above you and notice a tall, motionless, cloaked figure. You freeze and the figure disappears while you blink. For centuries, hikers and locals have reported seeing these towering, shadowy figures standing silently on the ridges of the Santa Lucia Mountains. Yet they don't speak and they don't move. Today, we're talking about the Dark Watchers. Are they spirits? Shadow people? Glitches in the Matrix? I'm Logan.
And I'm Ben.
This is Small Talk.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we've got tall, shadowy figures watching hikers.
Mm-hmm. Spooky shit, man.
This is kind of spooky.
Spooky shit? I love spooky shit.
Isn't your middle name Spooky Shit?
It is. Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
So this is the third installment of Small Talk.
Oh, we had a brief discussion about this. Technically, yes, this is the third installment
The
of Small
precursor
Talk.
to OKC was more of just a building up to a main episode. And
Ben thought that was he thought he was gonna make OKC 2 parts.
I did.
But he decided not to. But that ended up being 42 minutes, which is about what we typically record for.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing super enticing happened because that was supposed to be part one.
Just
of
a lot of
OKC.
disposition to really get ready for the main course.
Yeah, and I cut off right before the explosion. So I mean.
And anyways, episode 3 of Small Talk, we're going to talk about the Dark Watchers.
The Dark Watcher.
Pardon, excuse me.
That was loud. Holy moly!
Yeah, my fault. Okay, so before we really get into the story, I'm going to show you.
I'm super intrigued.
Okay.
As to what he has papers face down that he will not show me.
Yep. I went through the trouble of printing off an image. I can't remember the last time I printed off an image.
It's been a while for me too. Yeah.
Pull it up on my phone to show somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to show you really what I had in mind when I first heard of the Dark Watchers.
Okay.
And then the second picture. So, okay. Some more disposition. I want to make this. I want to make this flow. This is a listener episode. This was given to us from a close friend of the show, Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Shout
out Taylor.
Yep. Shout out Taylor.
Appreciate the recommendation.
She told me this the other night at Paul's house. I was slightly intoxicated.
Right.
She started talking to me about this. I was like, "Holy shit, that sounds great. Let's talk about that."
I wasn't present. I was at this event, however, I wasn't present for this conversation.
Yeah, you were somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was me, Taylor, and Randy. We were talking about the podcast.
Okay.
And then
she recommended you this.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's big on TikTok, it looks like. So she pulled this up. I saw it and I was like, "Whoa, that's spooky. Let me talk about that." So based on what she told me and the very little evidence I did prior to actually writing my outline for this show, this is what I thought the Dark Watchers were. You're going to notice on the far right-hand side.
Right. This is exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was actually thinking more, not really Slender Man, but, this just looks like a man in a cloak with like a bowler hat maybe?
Yeah.
Bowler hat on. Standing on the coast. I mean, this is kind of what I was envisioning.
Yep.
You have another face-down image there.
I do. We're going to save that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I'm really chomping at the bit to see
We're
these
going to
images.
save that.
I've been sitting here looking at them all night.
So I'm going to show you that image at the end of the episode after you have all of the information I've gathered.
Okay.
Okay?
So my initial, when I thought of Dark Watchers and then hearing your intro, because I knew nothing about the Dark Watchers until you texted me. I think it was this morning or yesterday. It's been recently.
This outline was typed 8 hours ago.
Okay, so this was today. You did.
Yeah.
Okay, you threw it together today.
Yep.
And I asked you Because, I mean, we record the main episode and the small talk on the same night.
Mm-hmm.
We just recorded.
We're both slightly. We both might be drunk.
We've been drinking. That's why we do the small talk separate.
This Andigator. We've had 2 of these Andigators. They're 8% by themselves.
Yeah. You'll, if you listen to Issei Sagawa, you'll know that we did the review of the Abita Brewing Andigator.
Great beer. Buy it.
They're stout, dude.
Yep. Good stuff.
We're feeling the benefits of those.
Yep.
However, texted you asking you what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You said Dark Watchers.
Yep.
I did not know what that meant.
Great.
My mind wandered.
Love that.
And now, this was kind of where I was seeing it going, was like mysterious dark figures watching people.
Mm-hmm.
However, I didn't think it was going to be like on trails. I thought it was going to be like in their houses, kind of.
Okay, well, okay. Yeah, in that sense, you know what? No, not going to give you any information.
Okay,
We're going to get into it.
I'm going to put this photo down. You read your outline. I'm
all right.
Chomping at the bit here.
Let's go. So the Chumash people, the indigenous tribe, they were the first to really mention seeing the Dark Watchers. Although they weren't obviously known as Dark Watchers when the Chumash were seeing them. But there were numerous stories passed down that revolve around spiritual entities that would watch travelers silently as they move through the mountain range. Fast forward to the 1700s, as Spanish settlers were exploring the region, numerous eerie encounters with these dark, unmoving figures standing on distant ridgelines were reported.
Were they always reported like the same?
So that's kind of what got me with this.
Like this picture, it shows, I mean, a man or a woman, I guess. It just shows a figure in a cloak with a big bowler hat on. Or like not a cowboy hat, but just like a big sun hat, kind of.
That's what got me with this story. From the Chumash people to modern day sightings, they're all kind of the same.
Really?
Larger than human, shadowy figure, cloaked with a large hat.
I was going to say, this figure, like, relative to his surroundings, looks larger than the average human being.
Yeah. And that's a consistent description.
Okay. That's interesting.
We're talking like before European settlers made it to...
Yeah, and before media, too, to influence the way you think about them. Yeah. So, yeah, this was just genuine first-hand account.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I think there's something there.
For sure.
Anyways, Spanish settlers in the 1700s, while they were exploring the region, they saw these same things that the Chumash tribe described. They gave this name the Los Vigilantes Oscuros, which translates to the Dark Watchers. So that's where the name the Dark Watchers come from.
Okay, so it comes from
Spanish settlers.
320-ish years ago.
Still sticking around.
Still relevant to this day. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Through all of recorded history, all accounts are exactly the same, as I said. Dark Watchers don't communicate. They don't threaten. They don't move. They just stand there in the distance watching. Spooky.
This is creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
I can't believe this isn't more of a popular thing. I've never heard of these before.
Yeah. You know me, I'm not active on social media. I'll check in on like our social media. I don't have a social media for myself. Mm-hmm. So the only reason I know about this is because Taylor said something the other day.
So whereabouts are we? I guess we're going to get into modern day stuff here.
Well, we're in the these appear to be isolated the Santa Lucia mountain range in Big Sur.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in California.
California. Okay.
California.
Okay. I wasn't sure where Big Sur mountain range is, to be honest with you. Should have asked. Interesting. So it's West Coast. Seems like a lot of things that happen like this are typically further west than they are east. Even though the first settlers settled on the East Coast.
I didn't think that at all. I thought this was more like an Appalachian kind of thing that made its way out west.
You're getting into some deep-rooted history right there. Some creepy stuff happens.
There are we are on Appalachia's doorstep.
Oh yeah.
We're
less than an hour and a half from the nearest mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we live in Tennessee, so
we were there the other day. Where did we wherever that was, the camping trip a while back. Technically in Appalachia.
Yeah, that was in Appalachian.
North Alabama.
Yeah, that was in Appalachian. It was the beginning of the mountain range where it kind of starts to slowly slope upward.
We could use small talk solely for stories out of Appalachia.
Oh, 100%.
Easily.
Now then, that also gets into the debate of Appalachia versus Appalachia.
I've used both, I've noticed.
I just said Appalachia, you said Appalachia.
So okay.
Even though we grew up around it,
Yeah.
I'm still not certain of the pronunciation.
I have family in Irwin, Tennessee.
Okay.
Smack dab in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
They say Appalachia.
Appalachia, okay.
They are also exceedingly country.
Okay.
They are the most country people I've ever met in my entire life.
Okay.
People say I'm country because of my accent.
Yeah.
Which
we mute it for this show as much as we can.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm sure it comes out.
I try really hard. Even like when I'm editing, I'm like, holy shit, I'm a fucking bumpkin.
But when me and you get to chatting, outside of the
comes
podcast,
out.
it comes. Yeah, we're a couple of rednecks. That's how it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You love us or you hate us.
Yeah.
But I think it's Appalachia.
Okay.
We're gonna save the rest of what I was about to say for future episodes.
Okay,
but
let's do that.
I have sources that can get us some real good information on some of those haints, so they're called up there.
Okay.
Okay.
That I don't know what that means, but we'll get into that some other day.
Buckle up, buddy.
Let's do it.
Anyways, in the late 1930s, the Dark Watchers made their way into literature when California native and Nobel Prize-winning author John Steinbeck mentions them in his 1938 short story, Flight. He describes a character having an encounter as, quote, dark forms against the sky. He quickly looked away, for it was not good to look at them for too long. Yeah.
You say dark forms the sky?
Yep.
Against the sky, rather?
So, I didn't write this in the outline, but apparently John Steinbeck's mother, she was very, I guess spiritual is the word.
Okay.
But she
religious
believed,
or spiritual?
We'll say spiritual.
Okay.
I don't think she was. I mean, there's no mention of like religion.
Okay.
From what I read, but she very much believed in these Dark Watchers.
That's I will say that's regardless of where she or they lived. That's a pretty rare mindset for 1930s.
Sure.
America to be spiritual as opposed to religious.
We got to think. This short story was released in 1938. John Steinbeck was an adult, so you're thinking early 1900s?
You may be even thinking late 1800s. To classify yourself, that's interesting.
Yeah. Free spirit, man.
That's very interesting.
Free spirit.
Yeah.
As we said, many of the modern sightings mention that you shouldn't look at the Dark Watchers for too long. Which, again, that spook factor, it's slowly starting to creep up.
Is there you say you shouldn't look at them for too long?
Yeah.
Is there evidence as to why you shouldn't?
It's a very interesting question. I found zero mention of why you shouldn't look at them.
Okay. So I'm going to be hesitant. If I ever see one, I'm going to look at it for way too long. I'm going to see what happens.
We'll get into some other stuff that kind of, I'm not going to say it disproves that claim that you shouldn't look at them, but for me, it kind of disproves it.
A little bit. Just the looking at it too long factor. I do believe that people are seeing these things, or they wouldn't be as popular as they are.
So I'll say this. There has been no mention whatsoever of these things attacking anyone. Like, the Dark Watchers is as true as it comes. Like, they simply observe from the distance. They don't communicate. They've never harmed anyone. They just watch.
Let's get into some theories as to what these could be here soon.
Well, I do have a few more bits here for you before we get into those.
Let's hear it.
Poet Robinson Jeffers refers to the Dark Watchers, suggesting they may be a reflection of nature itself, silently observing us. While these two may be the most popular accounts, There have been a ton of sightings from hikers, campers, and even park rangers saying they all had encounters with the Dark Watchers. All accounts outline them as tall, cloaked silhouettes on ridgelines. They are always motionless. They don't move. You cannot approach or look directly at them, or they disappear. And they leave zero physical trace. So if you see them in an area, you go to that area, there's no footprints, there's nothing that would indicate anything has ever been there.
So, I have shifted my mentality pretty drastically.
So let me ask.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm still in.
Okay.
You've still got me. I'm still on the hook.
Okay.
There for a minute, I thought maybe you were going to lose me. But you know what? I'm still in.
Okay. That's great.
Because, I don't know, leaving no physical trace.
Don't read any further.
I'm not. I'm reading what you just said.
Okay.
Leaving no physical trace, vanished when approached directly. That gives me, like, not schizophrenia, but like when you look somewhere and like you just see a quick shadow. I don't know if it's like paranoia or what you would call it, but every now and then, like you go into a room that's dimly lit and you look around and you jolt to one side of the room because you thought you saw something. Obviously, it's just your mind filling in gaps of where things are dark. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what's happening here because some of these I'm sure have happened in broad daylight. We'll see.
So with that, let's get into what I believe are possible explanations.
Okay. So this is your opinion of possible.
This is my research.
Okay.
This picture that's face down right now is going to tie into my research.
I am pumped to see this picture.
But I'm going to give you all of these theories before we reveal that.
Let's hear it.
My first theory is going to be pareidolia.
Okay.
You familiar with pareidolia?
No.
Okay, so it's an evolutionary trait in humans that makes us sometimes see patterns or perceive faces when they aren't actually there.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to give you a good example. We as a species, never mind like conscious thought, we have evolved from cave people that were hunted. They were hunted. That's a fact. So, because of that, for the millions of years that was happening, or I guess hundreds of thousands of years that was happening, our brains subconsciously are seeking patterns. We are looking for that saber-toothed tiger that is trying to eat us. We're seeing faces when they're not there because our brain wants us to be aware.
I also think that could attribute to like pattern recognition
for sure
of today. Like you look at an abstract image, like your brain instantly wants to make something of it. Or like you look at literally anything in any direction, your brain is going to try and make sense of it, whether it's by detecting patterns or detecting a design. Maybe it's a face, maybe it's the body of something, maybe it's a truck or a house or whatever. Like your mind subconsciously is going to try and make sense of whatever you're looking at. Yeah. And if you're looking at something you don't understand,
right,
your brain is going to go, oh, well, it could be like, bam, like all these different things. And maybe a cloaked person with a bowler hat's one of those things.
So, you know me, I've hunted for really since I was 8.
Yeah.
So, I spent a lot of time, in the deer stand early. Like, we would get in the stand before it even really gets light. So, as that sun slowly starts to come up, the trees, the shadows, all of those things, like your brain starts to tell you, there's something right over there. Mm-hmm. You see this. Yeah. It's not even there. It's a tree that the light is hitting just right. But your mind is telling you, that's a person.
Yeah.
That's a predator. Something's there. Pay attention to that. 15, 20 minutes later, the sun moves its position. It looks completely different.
Yeah. Well, it's also like premonition. Like if you walk into, like me and you and a few of our other friends, whenever we were in our younger days, high school aged people, we would go to these abandoned houses or go out in the middle of nowhere to try and scare ourselves.
Yeah.
Every single time we would see something, we would hear something, like you would know for a fact that like, oh, there's something paranormal or nefarious or whatever happening here, even though there probably wasn't.
Yeah.
And we were just making it up, or we were wanting it to happen so bad that our brain was like, okay, fine, here.
Yeah. Here you go. Whatever.
Yeah.
Here's that dopamine hit.
Yeah. Here's what you wanted.
Yeah.
You wanted to see a shadow in that corner. Here it is.
Yep. And so that's another thing. Like these sightings happen almost exclusively at the end of the day. You're a hiker who's been hiking the Santa Lucia mountain range all day. You're tired. You're exhausted. Pareidolia is setting in. You see a shape in the distance. You look at it directly and you make sense of it. But when it's in your peripherals, you're just like, oh shit, there's a dark watcher. He's looking at me.
Yeah.
That's a solid theory. That makes a lot. That's top of my list. Well, it's second on my list.
So far, I think that sounds like a pretty logical explanation for. However, you did say earlier that you can't look directly at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one's sitting pretty tall.
Yeah.
If you can't look directly at it without it disappearing, that gives me subconscious activity.
Anyways. All right. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's
Sorry.
Cool. That's a bush light, ladies and gentlemen.
Bush light.
Bush light.
For the farmers.
That's going to be the only 10 of 10 we ever rate on this episode.
I would bush light, and I would put Mick Ultra up there. I would. I think Mick Ultra is easier to drink. I just think the price just irritates me.
Yeah. I didn't know if that chair was going to squeak out. I don't want that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Theory number 2 is the Brocken Spectre. And that's it's 2 words, but it's not the way it sounds. Brocken, Brocken, Spectre, SPECTER. I'm a little drunk. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't reading the outline when you said that. I thought you were saying Brock Inspector.
No, that's
like
what I thought.
you're inspecting a man named Brock.
That's what I thought after I said it. It is the Brocken Spectre.
Brock Inspector. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a common optical illusion that can appear when the sun is low in the sky, casting the viewer's shadow onto a distant cloud or mist. The shadow would appear much larger than a person, and it would be distorted.
No.
This image might change your mind. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. So that image is of a Brock Inspector then?
No. So this image is...
Let me see it.
No, I'm not going to show it to you right now. We're going to see this at the end.
Okay. I'm not buying into Brock Inspector.
Okay.
I know what that means. Like I've been in places where the sun is casting your shadow onto like a wall of mist. Mm-hmm. I've seen it before.
Shit, I also don't remember. Anyways,
it's not. I'm not buying it.
Maybe
for this, if it was just like a one-off thing, if one person had seen these Dark Watchers, I'd say, okay, yeah, he probably was just seeing shit. Mm-hmm. But over the course of 300 years, like I would guess probably thousands of people, if not tens of thousands.
Here's the thing with these unexplained phenomena: nothing is off the table. Nothing,
for sure. Yeah.
Theory number 3, case in point, is infrasound. You familiar with infrasound?
No, I'm familiar with ultrasound.
No, not that.
Okay.
So the wind traveling through the mountains creates a frequency too low for humans to hear, but it does affect our nervous system without us being aware.
No, that's interesting.
Yes. So horror movies, they will use infrasound. Your ears cannot detect this frequency, but your nervous system has a reaction. So when you feel scared while watching a horror movie, like you feel the hairs standing up on your arms or the back of your neck, that's infrasound affecting your nervous system in that way.
So, you don't think that's just like anxiety about what's about to happen? So, okay, I think that could be tested. You tell somebody, hey, I'm going to sit you down and you're going to watch this comedy movie. Would the same thing still happen, do you think, if they watched this movie thinking it was going to be a horror movie? Or, I'm sorry, thinking it was going to be a comedy movie.
I mean, infrasound is a real thing. Like,
100%. I believe that, yeah.
Scientifically proven. And it is proven that horror movies will use infrasound. So, I mean, of course, like the setting and the writing, everything that goes into making a movie will also affect you. But the infrasound, it is proven scientifically, has an effect on your nervous system that your brain cannot perceive. You don't know where it's coming from.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I say that's interesting because you think of like any emotion. Like, where does any emotion come from? Happiness, sadness?
Yeah.
Like, we assume that it comes from our brain, but like we don't know. Like, you feel happy all of a sudden or sad all of a sudden. Like, you don't know where that's coming from.
I mean, it's the nervous system.
I think so.
If there's anything in our bodies that we will not be able to fully comprehend, I think it's the nervous system.
I think you're probably right.
I mean,
and the brain, like the nervous system, which is obviously like stemmed directly into the brain. Yeah. So I think it's the most complex thing that we'll never understand truly.
Because so many evolutionary traits are tied into it. Like there are things that the modern human just can't comprehend with the nervous system, which ties me into the second point. I guess the second theory with infrasound.
Third theory.
Well, with infrasound specifically, there's two parts to the infrasound theory.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, of course, infrasound, it's affecting our nervous system. Pair this with our innate predisposition to feel vulnerable in the wild.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense. Like, your brain is telling you... really, this last bit, that's everything balled into one. The pareidolia, the bronchospector, the infrasound. You're in the wild, right? Santa Lucia mountain range, as wild as it gets. You're tired. You've been hiking all day. The bronchospector is casting your shadow onto a distant cloud or a mist. You see it out of the corner of your eye. You're like, oh shit, there's a person. You look at it directly, it's gone. Because you realize, oh, okay, whatever. Just my shadow.
I can speak personally to feeling vulnerable in the wild. You know, obviously, as well as most people in my life, that my wife and I traveled the U.S. in an RV for about 6 months last year. Obviously, we saw a lot of national parks. We hiked many of those national parks. One national park is Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Where's that?
It is in North Dakota.
Okay. Oh, shit.
It comes to mind when talking about being vulnerable in the wild. This was in June or July, sometime like dead of summer. It's very hot in North Dakota in the dead of summer, even though it's a very northern state of the U.S. We meet these people at the entrance of the park. And they tell us before we go in, it was an older couple, probably in their 60s maybe. They tell us before we go in, they're like, hey, just to let you know, like we passed a lot of snakes. And we also saw a buffalo, like a wild buffalo, while we were out. And we were like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. We get probably maybe a mile or two into Theodore Roosevelt Park. And for anybody that's ever hiked it before, they know it's just a big canyon. Like, it's a big wide open canyon. It's kind of deserty. There's no trees. There's just like tumbleweeds and dead bushes and stuff. We were standing out there at one point, and we look out at this like bluff kind of thing, and we see the buffalo. And then you look around and you see nothing else. And then you just hear, like, occasionally you would hear like a rattlesnake, like its tail, like that, like whatever the fucking noise it makes. And that feeling would hit us. Because you're like a 45-minute hike from the closest human being. You have no cell service. Like, I didn't even carry my phone with me because I knew we're going to have service out in this park. You are so far from safety. You're so far from, like, help that vulnerability sets in so hard to where it almost, like, it creeps up on you, and it like almost gives you like a fucking panic attack.
Your survival instincts kicked in.
You go into like a fight or flight mode. Even you're just standing there. You're on a hike. It's supposed to be fun. All of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute. Like, I'm in the middle of nowhere with no help.
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love just getting out there, just getting in the middle of nowhere. The modern human is not built to be out there. We're just not.
Like, we are entirely too dependent on technology.
Yeah, for sure.
As a whole.
So, I mean, of course, all of the theories we've outlined thus far, together, in my opinion, make this the most plausible thing. Second most plausible thing. Because my theory is the Dark Watchers are real.
Is that right?
They're spooky. They're not hurting anybody. What's the problem? Why can we not believe these things are real?
I'm inclined to agree.
Nobody's getting hurt.
There's no proof that they're not real.
None. The theories are just that. They're theories.
There's more proof, matter of fact, that they are real than that they are not. Much more proof, actually.
I mean, you have first-hand accounts of people seeing these items.
Yeah.
The theories are just theories. All that in mind, I want to show you this face-down picture that you have not seen yet.
I am about to explode to see this picture.
This is the picture you saw at the beginning. That's the AI generated, reenacted.
Oh, this is AI generated?
It may not be AI generated, but it is. It's kind of like this is what people want you to think of when you hear the word Dark Watcher.
Okay.
What I'm about to show you it's a first-hand account of what the Dark Watchers actually are.
So this is a real...
Yes.
You have confirmed this as being a real photograph.
Most of the pictures online, when you look for Dark Watchers, when you do your research on Dark Watchers, these kind of images are what will be... These are what will be presented to you first before you get into the really spooky, like super detailed pictures that you've seen at the beginning of it.
Okay, I'm ready to flip it over.
Okay. There you go. Giant letdown, is it not?
Yeah. Hey, brother. I'm not seeing anything here. I'm seeing rocks. I'm seeing grass. I'm seeing.
Are you really? Okay, let me see.
Light refraction, maybe.
Let me outline it for you.
Let's see what you're telling me here.
Okay, so the Dark Watchers. Do you see this?
I see it.
Right here?
I see it. I was really hoping you were not going to say this is supposedly a Dark Watcher.
That's what people are saying the Dark Watchers are.
This has really just killed any sort of hope I had for these Dark Watchers.
So while I believe me, I want nothing more in life to believe that the Dark Watchers are a real thing. What I'm seeing right here is in fact the Brocken Spectre. That is exactly what that is.
That right there is what happens when a combination of moisture and pressure and light meet in oxygen, and you get a spectrum of color.
That's that.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
As life often is. It's sad. It's disheartening, but that's what it is.
So you're suggesting now, after just saying the Dark Watchers are real, they're spooky, they're not hurting anybody, what's the problem? You're saying you're not really buying into this.
I'm fully buying into it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm fully buying into the image I first showed you.
To the first picture of this cloaked man who is...
now, had I never seen that image and I just saw this image, wouldn't believe it in the slightest. I want to believe in what you're holding in your hand.
Me too. That right there looks much more interesting than that. That just looks... I mean, I saw that like last week after it rained. That's nothing. I say we put both of these up on the socials and let the community decide.
We'll post these up. You
say which is more intriguing.
Yeah. Comment. Tell us what you think. What you think it actually is. Tell us we're stupid if you don't agree with any of this.
I think you're stupid. I don't agree with any of that.
Okay. I mean, that's you have your right to that
kidding.
opinion.
I don't think you're stupid.
Well,
I don't necessarily agree that the Dark Watchers. If it wasn't for them dating back to the 1700s, I'd be completely against this. That's a long ways back to have documented reports.
But here's the thing. You're a member of the Chumash tribe. You have been hunting all day. You're hungry. You're tired. Out of the corner of your eye, you see this. All of your beliefs that have been instilled in you since you were a child, you see this. You're going to tell that story. You're going to tell that story to your kids later on. Your kids are going to tell that story. You're playing the telephone game at this point. Right?
This could just be some stretched out story that isn't even close to what the original story was.
If I didn't think the Dark Watchers were undeniably real, that would be my second guess.
I think there's a version of the, quote, Dark Watchers that do exist. I don't think they're rainbow creatures made of light. I really want you to post this picture. That way people know what we're talking about.
Well, we'll post both.
This is what I imagined.
Let us know what you think.
You told me originally, Dark Watchers. This is literally what I imagined. I imagined a dark, cloaked figure in the distance. Do you remember I think it was Scooby-Doo. One of the monsters on Scooby-Doo. He was just a cloaked man with a big hat on. And he was just scary as hell.
That describes 70% of the villains in Scooby-Doo.
I'd have to show you a picture. But anyway, that's what I envisioned when I thought of Dark Watchers.
And that's what I wanted to believe. When Taylor showed me a video on TikTok, I'm not active on TikTok. I don't have a lot of information to go off the jump.
Right.
She showed me a video.
Sold me.
I mean, I was already tipsy at that point, so I wasn't really paying attention to what I was looking at. But in my head, when she told me the story, she showed me one short clip. I already made up in my mind what I was looking for. I did my research. After I did my research, I looked up. Okay, show me actual air quotations images of the Dark Watchers. Let me see exactly what people are saying they're seeing. I don't want the AI generated stuff. I don't want the spooky stories spooky stories are cool.
Drink you another Busch Light.
Relax. They're cool. Don't get me wrong. I love that. I live for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Spooky shit is my life. I love that. But the image you first saw and this image, undeniably not even close to the same kind of thing.
I almost wish you would have shown me this image first and then been like, oh, this is the Dark Watchers. I would have been like, okay, this is fucking stupid. And then you showed me this.
Yeah.
And you were like, here's an actual representation. I'd have been like, oh shit, this is real. Because this looks like a human being. This is something my mind, this one is something my brain can look at and be like, yeah, I recognize that as a living, breathing creature. That other picture just looks like something that I would see, after it rains. It's just a little rainbow.
I did exactly what you did, but I made it accurate.
That's fair. And that's what we are. That's what this show is. We are an accurate portrayal of facts that we read. That's what we do. So I get it. However, it has made me not buy into the Dark Watchers too much.
I want to believe. Look, so this first image, if this guy is skulking around Santa Lucia mountain range, he's not hurting anybody. He's just watching. Fuck it. Believe that.
That technically is a Dark Watcher, no?
That's not hurting anybody. Believe it if you want to. I believe it. I've chose to omit this from my memory, the second image.
I agree.
I'm going to ignore that.
I
want to believe this guy's out there.
I want to believe this first image here. I want to believe this is the Hat Man.
Yeah.
You familiar with the Hat Man?
I'm familiar with the Hat Man.
I say we do a small talk here.
That's
soon.
a small talk waiting to
About
happen.
the
I
Hat
threw
Man.
that second image on the floor.
Yeah,
We're going to forget
Throw it
that.
in the trash. Piss on it, matter of fact.
So yeah, Dark Watchers, they're absolutely real. There's no rational explanation. They're out there. They're watching you.
Yep.
They're not going to hurt you. They're going to run away when you look at them.
Every second of your life.
Yep.
They watch.
They're out there.
So just be on the lookout. You
Nothing
won't
you
see
can
them, but you'll almost see them.
Don't look at them for too long. Yep. That's Small Talk episode 3.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Goodbye.
We love you. Bye.